Okay, I believe that we are going live. Hello, everyone. I am Marcel, and I would like to welcome everyone to the lesson number 4 of our Hubleto Dev Academy, sponsored by Hubleto, which is business apps and front-end development today. So I hope you are getting ready. We will start in a minute or two. We have slightly updated the schedule or the mode how we will be operating these webinars. It will be slightly faster, swifter, so more interesting. So let's not wait too more, but just slowly but surely get towards the presentation. So I believe it is the right time to start. Just checking if the stream is working correctly. I believe it is. Just let me know if there is an issue. I will be checking the chat as usual. So hello everyone. As you probably know, this session is recorded, and you are able to catch it later on the live. As this is a live stream, so you are able to check it later. And feel free to say hi or say a little bit something different about you. For example, what cool book you have read recently. And my name is Marcel, our today's moderator and the host and the chat manager. So this is the voice you are hearing right now. So let's not wait long. Welcome everyone to lesson number 4 of the Hubleto Dev Academy. Today, our focus will be business apps and their front-end development. Since last time we were discussing backend development, so it is only natural to move towards the front-end development. Today's agenda is pretty straightforward. First of all, we will have a really quick recap of what we were discussing last time. And then we will jump straight to the front-end development, and we will be discussing the theory of our front-end development, how we're working it at Hubleto. And also, there will be our 2 experts that will be providing us live examples and real-life scenarios to get into the zone better. And last but not least, of course, we will have, as usual, Q&A session. So feel free to ask us anything. And of course, there will be some interesting talks about future webinars that will be waiting for us in the near future. So today's speakers are Richard and Eric. You have probably heard about them from previous webinars. So Richard is PHP expert with over 2 years of working with Hubleto. I believe it is closer to 3 years now. And Eric is also quite expert in his field of the custom development and on developer in general. So pretty standard guest list, I believe. So I hope you guys are ready. And since we have, as I mentioned, a little bit of a recap, I recommend you guys to check our custom app development backend basics video, which is also you can find on our YouTube channel. It's quite short. It's just 2 minutes and a little bit and provides, but it's short, but provides a lot of information about how backend works, and there are pretty neat informations. So feel free to check our YouTube channel for this video and for other videos as well. So there are plenty of information. Also, there are webinars. So check our social media and YouTube channel precisely for a recap. And also, do not forget to check our Dev Academy website, where there are a whole list of other interesting informations for you, and a lot of school videos or some similar stuff. Okay, so that was a little bit of intro. Okay, that's not necessary right now. So speakers, let's engage. Feel free to talk about your perspective on the front end. I believe Richard will be the first, so let's hear from the Richard.
Yes, just let me set this up.
Okay, I believe that you will be sharing your screen, so I will stop the sharing in a moment. Okay, you can see our... Oh,
It should be visible now. Hopefully it's visible for the stream as well. And hopefully the stream can hear me. Okay. So today I will be briefly talking about the front end of Hubleto. On today's agenda, we have the description API for Hubleto, some basics about controllers, and also I will be talking about how we can define the views and insert React components into them. So firstly, we have the description API. Front-end development can begin with the creation of a model, at least inside Hubleto. Configuration of the columns can affect how the columns or the input for the column can look inside the form in Hubleto. One basic example is a required input, which adds a little red star over the input, which we can see on the picture on the right. Maybe some advanced customizations can be your own input, like we see in the picture also, using the set React component. For this example in the picture, this is a custom component for the input that basically toggles a user for a task. So we have a owner and a manager, which we can toggle between into. Next up, you can add filters to the description of the model. These can add various filters to the table of the model. These filters are configurable to your liking. For example, Hubleto has some filters that filters out records that have been created maybe 1 day ago, or 2 days, or maybe a month ago, and so on. Other than that, you can also toggle some UI elements on and off on the table component that are available inside Hubleto. So for example, you can choose to either disable the column filters or enable the footer of the table. Next up, controllers. Controllers are a sort of bridge between the routing system and the UI. So basically, when a user navigates to a URL, a controller is triggered, which sets which view to render. The controller is basically preparing the view. It grabs all the variables needed, for example, from the URL, like the filters which we would have set up, and it passes the variables to the view that we set it for. So, for example, in the picture, we can see that we are setting a specific view which the controller should use. We can also pass other type of data to the view. We just have to set them up in this prepare view method inside the controller, inside our controller. So next up we have views. Views are in the most simplest way said the content that you see when you use Hubleto. Hubleto uses Twig to render the views. You can create views to your liking using the Twig language, HTML and CSS. You can build views to create, for example, some reports, either informational pages or any type of content you want. Inside views, you can use the variables that were passed through the connected controller, and you can show the data of the variables inside the views. The other way to build the views is to insert the Hubleto React components or the custom React components you can create yourself inside the view. For example, in Hubleto, we mainly use the table React component to basically show all the data of the model. Using the component and some configuration, we can immediately see the results and the records of the inserted table, like we see in the picture. So this is the example of the React component, table React component being inserted inside a Twig view. So this is the quick overview of what we'll talk about next, or what Eric will talk about next. Eric will now show us the example of how to create some front end inside Hubleto. So I'll leave it to him now.
Yes, thank you, Richard, very much. So I'll be sharing my screen now.
Okay, just a little quick info to our viewers. If you have any questions, feel free to write it in our chat. I will be monitoring the chat and see if there is interesting question. I will point it out and just we'll discuss it. So feel free to write it something. I'm just saying hello to everyone who write it to the chat so far. So hi. Hi guys. Okay, so Eric, if you are ready, feel free to share the screen and talk about the practical view at the front end.
Yeah, so you guys should be able to see my screen. I'll be talking about and showing the practical flow of how frontend is developed in Hubleto. Essentially, just to summarize the key points, I'll be talking about how the screen, what the user actually sees, is shaped by models, controllers, Twig views, and React components. I'll be directly talking about the current app, which you may remember from the previous lesson. It's the app that we showed the backend creation of. I'll be talking about how little code is actually necessary to directly affect the visual side of this app. I'll be talking about the patterns that can be reused across other apps or other screens of the app itself. And by the end of it, you guys will hopefully realize how actually simple this approach is and how quickly you can customize the feel of your app. The basics are one screen and 4 layers. Most Hubleto frontend follows these 4 concepts, and those are model, controller, Twig view, and the React component. Within the model, there'll be columns describing the visual side, as Richard mentioned. So don't expect me to actually be programming HTML and CSS, right? Within controllers, we will be resolving routes and be looking at the prepare view method that passes view params. We'll be also showing the Twig view, so how a screens app view actually looks like, and the components that it consists of, and how we manage interactions between them. This matters because doing it this way, the working on the front end stays focused, simple, and easily reproducible for other apps and many more apps. In the demo, I'll be talking about table configuration, so visible fields, the global search of the table, filters, how to configure neat little filters to actually show what kind of data you want to be looking at. Routes that connect URL states to the rendered screen. I'll be showing you how to register a component, and so on. So what you guys should, what should be your takeaway from this webinar? You guys should be paying focus to how actually most of the UI is described within the model, and it's not actual hand-built CSS and HTML. How thin and compact and actually pretty small these files are by themselves, and how they're able to accomplish so much. And once you understand one screen, essentially the next app, the next functionality becomes so much clearer and so much easier to implement, since most of these concepts I will be talking about usually stay the same. So I'm going to quickly jump into code. And let's get to it.
Okay, checking the chat for any newcomers. Okay, feel free to continue.
Right. So right now I'm in the default Hubleto screen, right? You might be familiar with this view. On the left side, I have the current lab. It's currently in the state which we left it in from the previous lesson, right? We have essentially just a table that's right now containing a few car types, a manufacturer, the model, some text, and that's about it, right? So you can actually store this data right now, how to make it nicer, how to make it readable, right? So that's what we will be getting into. So jumping into code, the first thing when configuring the front end of an app, I would recommend to do is to run the npm run watch.js command. What this command does, it starts a watcher that watches for the changes within the JavaScript of your app, and actually rebuilds the app automatically every time you make a change. So this way you don't have to run npm run build every time.
Eric, just a quick question or suggestion. Are you able to zoom the screen a little bit bigger so we can make the
Yes,
code
I
a little
am.
bit easier to read?
Should be nicer now.
Okay, it's slightly better, thanks.
Yeah, so as I was saying, running it this way, you don't have to be consistently rerunning npm run build, which is a nice quality of life feature. So first, I would like to actually configure some filters, right? So imagine you have a company and you have multiple cars, right? You don't only have 3 cars, but you have thousands, let's say. You want to actually filter out which cars are still on sale, which cars are active, and which are essentially archived or not in sale anymore. So to do this, what you want to do is jump into our model, right? And within our model, there is this nail method named describe table. This is important because even though we're still in a PHP file, we are actually modifying the front end of our app. This describe table actually builds the front end from the description within it. As you can see, the scaffold of the app actually contains already some filters. So if I uncomment these, you guys will see, you can actually see some filters show up, some default filters, active and archived. And these are the filters we'll be implementing for the car, right? So clicking these buttons does nothing currently. But for our purposes, what I'm actually going to do is create the filters another way, which is using the add filter method. Doing it this way actually allows us to have more control over the filters and what they do and how many there are, right? So we'll be able to configure our title, which is gonna be archive. Yeah, sure. Let's have it named archive. Always recommend using the translate feature, so it'll be able to be translated in the future, translated automatically. You can also configure stuff like the direction, right? So the visual orientation of the filter. So that would be the direction, which will be, let's have it be horizontal, for example. Horizontal. And then there are the options of the filters, which once again, as previously in the scaffold, will be 0 for active. So an active card, that's a card that's being in sale, and archived card, so a card that may have been sold already. Note that I'm always using the translate to basically have support for multiple languages. So after the filter has been added, let me refresh the app. And as you can see, it is currently laid out horizontally, right? Since I basically specified it to be horizontal. It still does basically nothing. So to make these filters function, we will be jumping into the describe column and essentially setting a custom flag. Let's name it is active. And what this function is going to do is active simply, and let's have it default to value of true. Set default value true. So now that we have a column flag for this, what you would want to do right after this point is actually create a migration. So a migration can be located in here. I won't be actually creating and running the migration from fresh myself since I've already done it before, but we have gone into migrations previously in the previous lesson and will be going into migrations in the future since we have a lesson that's specifically designated for migrations, their creation, the commands relate to them, and so on. But if you're interested in how migrations are made, we have a guide in our developer guide that goes into detail how to create them. But essentially, we're altering the archives table and adding the is active column. That's about it. So after you create and run your migration, what you want to do is go into your record manager. And in here, this is the moment the filter actually becomes real and starts functioning properly. What we'll be doing is uncommenting this line and then defining the filters from the URL parameter as array. And then doing a simple if statement that if we have an archive filter set and the integer value of the archive is 1. What we want to do after that is right. If the integer value of the archive is, hold on, I'm struggling with the code in here, right? Basically, yeah. So as the AI is suggesting here, I will be querying the table to active and else. If it's not set to 1, we'll be querying it to inactive. And basically, what this encompasses is it's the switch in between what data is actually shown within the table. So by this point, the data should be filtered out. And yes, as you can see, the cars that are already set to active are Toyota Corolla and Skoda Octavia. And the archive car, so the car that's been sold already, is Ford Focus. So note the URL. The URL is changing the archive parameter to either the 0 or 1. So after you have your filter situation sorted, so you can actually navigate your records neatly. What you can do after that is configure your controller. So let me jump into controllers. Controller. From the creation of the app, the controller actually contains quite a lot of boilerplate, so you can always clean it up, just to make
Eric,
it nicer.
once more, there is some guys are asking if you are able to zoom a little bit more to the
Yes, I
screen.
am.
Make it slightly bigger.
Right. They should
And
be
maybe if
zoomed
you are
in
able
more.
to zoom also on the Hubleto view as well, because this screen is good, but
Yes.
yes, this is certainly better. So our viewers will be able to see it correctly. Thank you for cooperation. Let's continue.
Yes. So what you can do within the controller, so first what I do usually is clean up all the boilerplate, the comments, so that they have their purpose, but that won't be necessary for what I'm about to show you guys right now. So essentially what we're looking at, what I would consider a really important part of a controller is the prepare view method. Um, uh, Essentially, what this method does is it loads the standard route parameters the front end actually expects. This is where the URL becomes useful from the front end. The parent prepare view actually parses the current request and fills the view params with values. These values vary. As you can see right now, there is a value now which contains the current date, and there is perhaps a random number that's a randomly generated number from 1 to 1000. These values, you can actually find them specified on our developer guide. But just to show you guys how this actually works and what these parameters do, let me specify one. So that would be let's, for the sake of our tutorial, let's have it be a screen subtitle. Screen subtitle. And what the screen subtitle is going to contain is a simple string message, which will be manage your cars here. Yeah, sure, why not? Manage your cars here. So once you have your param set, what you want to do is basically to show this parent within your front end, actually, is to go into a view. So for our purposes, we're going to go into the general cars view and actually include this param under our header, so under our title. And let's have a sample p tag, sure, with class. Let's make the text a bit nicer. Yeah, sure. Let's make it gray. Let's add a bottom margin, and it's going to contain the view param we specified, which is, as the suggests, screen subtitle. So doing this, once our front end rebuilds, as you can see, the specified string message within the param is actually showcased right under the title of the app. So doing this was essential to show you guys how params from within the controller are actually transferred into the view. What I'm going to do next is right under here, as you can see, this HBO React is a imported component. It is a custom table component, and we are going to actually configure the parameters within, right? So what I'm going to do next is have a simple string. As always, all of these parameters can be found on our developer guide, and you can get into that in detail. Let's have the full text search, right? Take the param p, and what this is going to do is essentially is going to allow us to have a basically the text that search within the global search of the app be shown within the URL and be persistent across the app. So let me simply search for Toyota. And as you can see, within the URL, it shows up as the Toyota search. And even if we refresh the page, the search is still persistent, but build failed. So let me just rerun our watcher. And in the meantime, I'm going to specify another parameter within our component here, which is going to be the active tabs. Which is this, if I'm not mistaken. It's the tab, right? String for active tab UID. Yeah, right. So what this leads me over to is, imagine you have multiple cars, right? And you click a car, and this car contains a lot of detail, right? You may have its mileage, its motor type, the fuel it takes, the amount it weighs, right? And this all becomes quite cluttered. So what you could actually do is have a separate tab, which I've already talked about in our featured review, which is widely used across all forms in Hubleto, which might be just a simple summary of all these features of your car, right? So to specify a custom tab, what you would do is jump into the component itself, which is our phone car right here. And essentially, near the middle of the component, as you can see, there is the tab field, right? So in here, you can see there is a command from the boilerplate. Here, you can specify your custom tab. So let me do that real quick. And let's have it be a quick summary. Just let it be a summary tab. And right after that, you want to jump down over into the random tab method And in here, as you can see, there is a switch case, which basically allows us to cycle through the different tabs we have in here. And all we're going to do is add another case, which is going to be the summary, as we specified before. And yeah, sure, as the AI suggests, it's going to be a summary heading. And what we're going to do is showcase the card ID, right? And right after that, let's showcase the car's manufacturer, which is going to be the field of the car manufacturer. After that, let's show the car's model, sure. And what I will do after that is showcase if the car is active, or as we previously specified, if the car might be already sold, right? So what you will do is specify car active. Car active, yeah. If it's active, it's true, translate yes. If no, no. Sure. Yeah, so this is essentially how it would look like if I wanted to, and don't forget the break statement right after. This is how it would look like if I wanted to create a tab with a car summary. So let's refresh the page, see how it looks like. So let's click on our Toyota, and as you can see, we have a tab section right here. Our default section becomes the car section, where we can specify all the details, and then there is the summary. And from our definition, it is a simple set of text that essentially sums up the contents of the car, right? So doing this way, you can add an infinite amount of tabs that each and all of them can have their specific purpose. They can be complex and simple, however you want, right? It is completely up to you. So what you may want to do right after that is, let's say, optionally change the title of the form. So what you would do is find the render title method, and here, instead of saying car, or let's have it be a vehicle detail, right? And simply doing this changes the title of the form right after it rebuilds. And so just to recapitulate, what we have achieved here, right? We have a half-baked sort of car rental app where we could enter cars and their specific car details, but it would simply become a huge mess after, I don't know, 50 cars were inputted in there. So doing it this way actually allows us to sort between active and archived vehicles, and once you click a vehicle, you can see its summary, which is a nice little feature. The important pattern to note is that Hubleto frontend work is usually not a giant React build, right? You don't actually have to write a lot of React. Most of the time, it is a small, well-placed change within the right layer, within one of those 4 layers. That's either the model, the record manager, the controller, the twig, or as we've shown, the component. And I think that's it from me. I'll hand it over to you, Marcel.
Okay, thank you, Eric, for your contribution.
Much.
It was really nice to see things flowing and working correctly. It was great to see how the front end works. Okay, back to my part of presentation. I believe that you can see the slide that I was ending it previously. So let's continue. I have just one more slide for you, but it's an important one. So because now it is your time to question and maybe probably ideally we will be answering them. So feel free to write anything that you would like to ask us. Just write the question into the live chat and I will be checking it out. And feel free to ask anything about frontend, backend, or anything other about Hubleto. So don't forget also to connect with us as usual through our GitHub, of course, or Reddit, or LinkedIn as well, or as you are right now on the YouTube, feel free to check our YouTube regularly for the updates and new videos and new webinars. So feel free to write us and we'll be answering to you in a moment. I guess it's really hot, so it's quite too hard to think through all the stuff we have been running through. So take your time, hydrate yourself, and write us something interesting. I'm checking the live chat right now. Nothing new for the time being, but I'm sure that something interesting will pop out. In the meantime, I would like to point out that the next lesson will be, as usual, in the 2 weeks' time. So the time and place remains the same. So this will be another recorded session on the YouTube live and with live chat included. And we'll be discussing the business apps, but we'll be checking the current app in the whole summary and not just front end, back end, but the whole another point of view regarding this model app that we are using, and we'll be checking how to work it through the Hubleto. So it's really interesting. Okay, there is some question, I believe. Let me check it. Okay, there's a question. Let me read it. Are we able to use hand-built widgets as well, or is preferable to just use CRUD model description? Feel free to answer this, guys.
There is a way you can create your own React components or React components that you can insert into the views. That doesn't. They don't necessarily have to like get the data or read the data from the database. They can be just simple React components that you can use. If you want, you can use your own components to get the data and show the data. If you want to go through building through the process of building your own component for showing the data, you definitely can. But you can also simply use our table components to show the data that you want.
Yeah, so just to add to that, if I may.
Sure.
So yeah, it is not a hard rule that you have to actually use these 4 layers. It is the standard pattern. It is the usual path across all the Hubleto apps. So it is the backend model, the descriptions, controller, big view, and the React component, right? That is the common architecture. But it's not a rule that every screen must customize all 4 layers, right? So some screens can stay mostly generated, right? What gets generated when you create the app, and some more custom screens you can add extra logic, dashboards, widgets, special controllers, and on top of the base that actually gets generated. But it is preferable if you use these model descriptions because they give you consistency and speed, and they actually utilize the built-in behavior like forms, tables, filters, permissions, and I don't know what are named the translations, for example. So yeah, feel free to experiment, code on your own. It is at the end of the day an open source project. So yeah, just to add to that.
Great inputs. Hope that answers your questions, Jakub. In the meantime, there's a whole lot of messages from the Michal, so let me check it and try to summarize it a little bit because it's a little bit long. And we will try to answer it, of course, because we are here to answer your questions. So do not be afraid of the longer questions as well. It is possible to add, for example, lookup field car to a customer in this car rental app, for example, to keep track of customer owning a car. Can I do this somehow automatically or without needing to recompile edit the community apps of the Hubleto? Well, it's a little bit complex question, so guys, feel free to take your time. But there is also some suggestion from other user that this might be achieved by dependency injection. So feel free to discuss this and point it out if it is good or it's bad. So let's hear it from you guys.
For that specific scenario, if you want to add a car to a specific customer, you can do so by adding a custom column to the config of your app or of your instance. Every app basically has its own, has the ability to have custom columns. You can also disable this option or this feature, but through you can basically add any type of custom column inside the configuration of your instance to Hubleto. You just need to link the or like connect it to the right model that you want the new column to be in, and after that you just have to add the column like inside the database using either our tools, our developer tools, which are available inside the Hubleto, inside Hubleto. I think it's called database checker or something like that, something similar to this. Or you can just simply you also use a MySQL command, but I think the database checker is the way to do this safely. And also it's a more convenient way to do these types of custom columns for other apps.
Yeah, so just to add to that, it is pretty easy to synchronize your custom columns with your current database. All you need to do is within the left sidebar of Hubleto, scroll down to Tools, then go into Check Database Consistency and Developer Tools and check database consistency. And if you made any updates, any custom columns, you'll actually see them in here, and you can run these updates yourself.
Okay, that was complex answer to a complex question. So I believe that Michael, you are happy with the answers, or feel free to put something else as well. So feel free. So open discussion further regarding this topic, but feel free to write anything else if you want. We still have some time, but surely we'll be slowly we will have the closing. Okay, Michal says thank you, so we are saying thank you to Michal as well.
as one of the viewers said, yes, it's also possible throughout through the dependency injection, using your own. Basically, you can either change some columns that are already available, or you can even add columns through dependency injection using the describe column method and apply it to the model using the dependency injection.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so guys, do not forget about our next lesson in 2 weeks' time. Just let me check if there are a few more questions. No, for the time being, but let's wait 1 minute or two, just for the time's sake. Maybe there are some late question. So write to your calendars that we'll be meeting again on the Wednesday, 8th of July. So hopefully it'll be some summer weather as today, and it will be great to seeing each other. So we have a whole car rental app summary, and we'll be discussing further use of this app. So it might be interesting for you to join us. Okay, I believe that it's probably the right time to wave your hand and say goodbye to our viewers, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other really soon. So it is time to close our today's lesson, and we'll be seeing each other in 2 weeks' time. So goodbye, guys, and see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.